Speaking
it
of
has.
cliche,
Yeah.
Dean,
Yeah.
I saw your tweet and I'll just read it in case you guys haven't seen it. Wenger got 8 million for cliche. That's up there with putting a man on the moon, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It was a good piece of business.
Hey, party people, I've 12 here, and welcome to the 19th Suburban Gooner podcast. We've got the usual gang here today. Hi, Chris. Hi, Ben.
Howdy.
Hello.
And we also have Dean. Hi, Dean.
How's it going, guys?
And so, Dean, your Twitter handle is at DeanLDN22. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Who wants to talk about the FA Cup first? Don't all shout at once.
It's the excitement. Chris, you go first. I know you.
We're all just so excited. We're all just sitting here sort of rubbing our hands with glee because, let's face it, we don't know where to even begin. Do we begin with the fact that Arsenal were pretty majestic yesterday? Or do we begin with the laughter and happiness that actually Man City are knocked out of the FA Cup? I generally don't even know where to start. I mean, Dean, you kick us off, mate. You kick us off.
Well, yeah, I thought, looking back to the game yesterday, I thought it was, first of all, a cracking FA Cup tie. I thought Everton came and played for the win, and they made it a great game to watch. And it's a fantastic spectacle. I thought pretty even game for up to about 70 minutes. But yeah, in the end, our class showed, and I think we were deserved winners. And honestly, it was well needed after what happened last week. So no complaints, really. Just really happy with it.
Yeah, big time. What did you think of Ozil, Dean?
Fantastic. I think criticism of him has been a bit harsh, but you can understand people, they see the price tag and they expect him to score overhead kicks every week. But you know, that's just not the player he is. He's the player that makes other players play. So you put the right things around him, and that's like we did yesterday. We had a pretty mobile team, and it showed. You know, he created chances left and centre, and scored a good goal himself.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that I think it was James from Gunner Blog said, I'm sure I saw him say it on Twitter, that the difference between Ozil against Man United and Ozil yesterday wasn't a lot. It was more, and goes back to what you said, Dean, about him being mobile. It was more the players around him were making movements, and you know the Ox just had. I couldn't decide whether or not it was the Ox that had the man of the match or Ozil, but apparently the Times even said that Santi should have got man of the match. And like one of the things that I've been saying today is it clearly shows how well the team played, that there are quite a few candidates for man of the match. What do you reckon, Ben?
Totally agree, yeah.
Yeah, no, just to sort of echo what you guys already said, really. It was it was just magnificent, because I watched it on the box. I wasn't at the game. But it was magnificent to win. It's magnificent to still be in the cup. And it, like we were saying earlier, Chris, it leaves us with that opportunity with 2 games, obviously, at Wembley, and we could possibly get a trophy. I don't know, I sort of felt... I was watching it before. I was watching it with my dad, and we were sort of sitting there mumbling to ourselves, thinking, "Oh God, this is going to go sort of a bit Pete Tong here." But it didn't, did it? Once we sort of took that, when we went 2-1 up, we just didn't look like we were going to surrender the lead, and we sort of just flourished, and the football was just sublime. That 4th goal was just like utterly, it's ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah, it was sweeping movement, and they just didn't have a chance. And I don't know, it was interesting. I think Giroud had a big part in making Ozil work. Does that make sense? When he's on the pitch for long periods of time, he starts to revert to type and play more. He does the same thing, doesn't he, over and over and over. But because he was fresh and he was keen to sort of make an impact, his sort of movement really made Ozil excel, because Ozil needs players around him to do the opposite of what he's doing to make it all tick. And it was just fantastic. It's brilliant. I'm delighted, absolutely delighted.
Speaking of the 4th goal, I thought it was brilliant when you saw Ozil point to Giroud where to run before Ozil had even received the ball.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
It was just brilliant. And you're right, Ben, when Giroud switched on and he's fresh, his movement can be quite good. It's when he's, like you say, he reverts to type or has played the whole game or is pretty comfortable. He
Because he can be easily worked out, can't he? Sort of once he's doing the same thing over and over and over. Because he came on and he made the ball stick. Sonogo was trying to hold the ball, but every time he sort of got hold, well, he didn't get hold of it. That was the problem. It was going all over the place, and it was giving Stones the chance to sort of get one over on him, basically. And then Giroud just showed actually how good he is at what he does. So very refreshing.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he looked quite fresh, actually. The little breaks done him well. And, he came on and he made forward runs, which was nice to see because he likes to play with his back to goal. Yeah. But when he does make them forward runs, he can be a handful because, let's face it, he's a big guy. He's physical and, he's got a good left foot on him. When he hits the target, he generally scores. So
didn't Arsene Wenger say as well that he needed a rest? Didn't afterwards Arsene Wenger said something like he needed a rest or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah. But he mentally looked with it, didn't he? When he sort of got that, when he got his goal, the first goal, the celebration was. When he scored a couple of weeks ago, it was almost. I don't know if we spoke about it, if it was you that mentioned this, Chris, but he looked embarrassed when he scored. Yeah. And this obviously this time he just went into one, didn't he? It was like utter relief, like I've done it, I'm back, let's go for it. He sort of almost like he looked ready for the run-in rather than a bit of a shaky mess the other week. So
yeah, it could have been different, couldn't it, if Arteta wasn't so calm, and if he'd have missed the second penalty, I'm sure Giroud would have got a bit of hate. Because he was practically standing next to Arteta when he took the shot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was pretty close in. You hardly see them give it ever, but when a referee feels like it, now and then they give it.
Yeah.
That's the case, isn't it? I mean, the amount of times that you see goalkeepers running out off their line and they never ever retake there. So what's the difference between Giroud running in and a goalkeeper running out? I mean,
it's a funny one. If the keeper saves it and he taps it in, then maybe award a free kick the other way. If it goes in the back of the net, it's completely irrelevant, isn't it? It's a bit of a grey area in the laws.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. I saw your tweet earlier, Chris, where you're saying, either don't give any or give them all kind of thing. But I suppose if that's the law, it's wrong that they're not given rather than that they are given, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the point I was trying to make is not so much one way or the other, it's just consistency.
If you watch it again, you see the second penalty, Giroud does exactly the same thing, and the referee just turns a blind eye to it. That's what I mean. Sometimes they feel like giving it, sometimes not. Personally, if it goes in, they haven't affected it. If they come in and knock in the rebound, give a free kick the other way. It's that simple, really, I think.
What's your opinion, Dean? I saw a few people kind of saying that they don't think Arteta should have celebrated. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, nice. It's totally up to him. He's been at Arsenal for three years now, so it's not, and he didn't leave really with acrimonious circumstances with Everton. He's an Arsenal player now. He wants to celebrate, so I don't think it was over the top.
Yeah, I completely agree. You've just taken a penalty. He didn't go over the top the first time. You've then been asked to take it again. It's the quarter-final.
Belief more than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you say, he didn't go crazy, so I think he was well within his right to celebrate. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think people should get sent off if they don't celebrate goals. I just don't understand the culture of. Did you see the one with Wes Hoolahan the other week? He scored against Villa. And it was a move was on the cards, but it fell apart at the last minute. He didn't celebrate the goal because he almost moved to Villa. Geezer's at an all-time low there. I'm sorry, that's shocking. They should have sin-binned him or something for that. Shocking.
Next it'll be, I can't celebrate. I watched them on the telly once.
Yeah. My cousin's a West Brom fan, so I'm not going to celebrate.
Oh, God.
Have you, the latest argument that the fans we seem to be having amongst ourselves is whether Fabianski should play in the semi-final and the final. What do you think about that one, Chris?
I would put the strongest possible team out against Wigan and leave it, be done with that. And Fabianski's not going to be an Arsenal player beyond the summer, so I don't see why he wouldn't just play his strongest team, and Chesney is clearly his number one, so just go for it. I mean, the thing is, I don't think that that's as much of an issue. For me, what will be more of the issue is who plays in the more forward-lying role positions, because the hope, and I'll touch wood as I say this, I'll find some wood to tuck there, is that we don't really need to call on the goalkeepers too much against Wigan, and hopefully we can give them an absolute battering. And let's be honest, if there's a team, we are still fighting for the title, and if you've got a team fighting for the Premier League title against I think Wigan are some sort of mid-table-ish, aren't they, in the Championship, then you should be beating them, and you should be beating them comfortably. And I'm sure many people will come back with they beat Man City away, but I didn't watch the game today. You guys did, but you can tell me. I mean, I don't know how good Wigan were or how shocking City were.
Well, I think Wigan were quite good actually, but I've seen it a few times with City. They're quite complacent against the lesser sides. I don't think that would be a problem for us. We've been pretty good for about 18 months now of putting away the lesser sides, and I think we're quite clinical against them. So I don't see that being a problem in looking forward to the semi-final. But again, it will be a tough game for me. Szczesny should play. But I can probably bet my bottom dollar now Fabianski will. Wenger is very loyal to his players, so I can see him playing Fabianski. But he's a good keeper. As long as the team wins, Fabianski don't make a mistake, don't think there can be much to argue about.
Ben, what's your thoughts on playing Vermaelen? Because he played Vermaelen, and I think that was because of the Koscielny knock. But would you play Vermaelen in the semi-final? Because I think that he didn't have the best of games yesterday. I think he was actually caught. He was caught in no man's land, marking fresh air for the first goal that was conceded yesterday, for our goal that we conceded yesterday. And then he had that fresh air kick, which Barkley nearly punished us on.
No, I wouldn't. Like, I agree with you. And what Dean was saying, I'd go for our best team in this. I think, to get all serious in a minute, we can't mess this up now.
No.
Like, if we mess this up again, like, it's not going to be good, is it? Like, in all seriousness, like, we saw today that Man City didn't go. They did what we did against Stoke. They didn't start the game off with high pressure, high tempo. And Wigan are a very good side. They set up very well. Uwe Rosler's a very good manager, and he continued with what Martinez has done. I'm not trying to build them up. We should be smashing Wigan 3 or 4-0. Let's be honest, but it's cup football. Anything can happen, and everyone's going to have a massive game, aren't they?
I agree with you. I agree. I can see Wenger playing the strongest team, because if he makes a few changes, then he does leave himself open to criticism. Say, why didn't you field the strongest team? If he just put his best 11 out, I don't think he's thinking about himself, but if he puts his best 11 out, then it's basically on the players to go and do the business. But I'm pretty confident against like mid-table teams or lower league teams with pretty good record. So confident, but not complacent.
Yeah, I agree, guys. I think he should play his full strength team. I think he should play Szczesny, but I think he will play Fabianski. I definitely think he should play Mertesacker and Koscielny if they're both fit. I think you're being a bit harsh on Vermaelen, Chris. I think you're the first person I've heard blame him for the goal, actually.
But if you watch,
I agree, actually. Yeah.
Other than the fresh air shot, I thought he was quite solid. And there was one point where the ball came across to Lukaku, and he's kind of got around him and tackled him for a corner. It was actually a really good challenge.
Yeah, by and large, he played well, but there was just a couple of key moments that you get punished against the best teams. And we got punished with that goal. If you watch that goal again, Flamini, because he's been booked a couple of minutes earlier...
I think that's if we have to blame a player, it's him for picking up that silly yellow card before, because he would have stopped that.
That's his game, though. I mean, taking the tackle, that's what he does. And the ball goes out wide, and Flamini, you could see, he starts to run towards it, and then he sort of checks back.
Yeah,
and as Barkley runs across on the right-hand side, I watched Vermaelen, it was only on the replay, it wasn't on the goal. I thought, we've made a cock-up here, and Mertesacker and Tanya just didn't pick up Morales and Lukaku at the back post. But when you watch it again, Vermaelen just sort of ambles in between the penalty spot and the edge of the D, the left-hand side of the D. And when the ball's coming in, you're looking and you're thinking, there's not a single player around. It's not like you're tracking anybody. You're just literally just ambling back. You've not gone towards the ball. You've not gone towards one of the players. And I couldn't help but think, maybe it's because he was a bit rusty, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I couldn't help but think that if that had been Koscielny, he probably would have dropped off a bit, and whereas Lukaku, found himself with an open goal to tap it into, I don't know. Mertesacker just kind of looked up and then looked at Vermaelen for a split second, because it's obviously down the end where I stand. And I don't know. In my head, I imagined that Mertesacker was thinking, Cos normally wallops that into touch if by missing.
No, I know what you mean. When I did see the replay on the TV, I see what you're saying. He's like not marking anyone. He's not marking a person. He was more marking the zone, like the near post zone sort of thing. Personally, I just thought it was a brilliant counter attack from Everton. Flamini could have, if he was not on a yellow, probably would have taken Barkley down, or definitely would have taken him down. But I thought it was a great counter attack. And then the final ball from Barkley was pretty special, man. Managed to whip it round and get it to the back stick. I thought, obviously, there's areas where we probably could have done better, Vermaelen and the trackers, Flamini. But sometimes you've got to hold your hand up, say it's a good counter-attacking goal.
Yeah, and they got a bit of luck, didn't they, with the
with the rebound
thing.
That just drops to him, doesn't it? But we didn't handle their counter-attacks
all game.
All game, did we really? Like, that's why Flamini, like, to back up what Chris was saying, because I'm sort of 50% with him there, is that Flamini, that's why he originally got booked, because he got caught napping. And that's to take down whoever it was for the first booking. I think it was Stones. Was it Stones?
Yeah, he didn't actually take anyone down, though, did he? The referee pulled it back later on. He kind of, like you say, he was caught napping and tried to get someone.
Mm.
And he messed that. But that was because the gap between the defence and midfield was too large. And then the gap between Vermaelen and Mertesacker was too large. So our sort of defensive square, if that makes sense, it was too far apart.
Agree.
You saw against Bayern, they were tight, they were together, but they were all over the shop. And it gave Barkley, like, he was fantastic.
Loads of space,
He's going to be, like, awesome.
I'll tell you what I did see on Twitter was a couple of people blamed Arteta for shooting.
I don't think you can blame him for having a shot. Because I noticed yesterday Arteta was playing a much more advanced role. He was almost playing the box-to-box role, but obviously at his age and with all his injuries, he hasn't got the legs for it anymore. So he was leaving Flamini a bit exposed, but not by error, more by, like, it was an instruction from him to play further forward.
Yeah.
It's not like Ramsey. Ramsey can play further forward, but he's an absolute machine. He can get back and get forward without a problem.
Yeah.
Arteta's not quite got the legs for it, and that's why I thought we were hit with a lot of counters, because they were hitting one midfielder most of the time with the back four. Yeah, so
I thought he had a good game, though. I agree with the legs. You can't compare him to Ramsey.
Yeah, no, I thought he had a good game as well. Just legs, you can't do nothing about age. He catches
there
us
was
all.
At one point, wasn't there, Dean, where he was kind of running with the ball and he was nearing the edge of their box, and you could see the Everton player like catching him.
Yeah,
pass it.
Do you know what's the most depressing thing in the world? Arteta's the same age as me. So when I say it as well, his legs are gone, and I think to myself, Arsene Wenger's not going to phone me up, is it? I've had my time. Even now, even if he did phone me up, he'd still only go, "You got a 1-year deal," and that's it.
So, guys, today's the result. How amazed were you, or what were you doing when Wigan beat Man City? I didn't watch the game. I was actually kind of watching it through Twitter, if you like, and I was just waiting for the updates, because Twitter's actually faster than all the the Sky Sports apps and stuff. So then when the final whistle went, I had to read 2 or 3 tweets to make sure it just wasn't someone having a laugh with everyone. And then I just screamed like Arsenal had just won, and then I just didn't know what to do after that. I just went quiet.
Well, I'll go next, because mine's quite short. I watched Live and Let Die and did exactly the same thing. And I can't help but listen to think about that title, that title of that movie, and think about Man City right now and smile. So you guys watched it, Dean, Ben. You guys watched it. What did you think?
Go on, Dean.
Well, I caught the last hour of it, sort of thing. So just after the penalty they scored, and it was Wigan played some good football, and from what I saw the first half, Man City didn't really have anything, and like you were saying, as we were a bit one-paced against Stoke, Man City started off slow, and then it was like hard for them to get into their rhythm, and then Wigan scored another goal with a cliche error, which is always nice to see, and then after about 10 minutes came the City onslaught. They got a goal, and you're thinking, oh, here we go. Then they hit the post, and then Boyce made probably the best tackle I've seen all season. And then after that, the game sort of petered out a bit. Like, City didn't really have them on the ropes, and it felt like a win though. It was proper nervous. I was like, watching the game.
It was
like it was an Arsenal match.
Speaking of cliche, Dean, I saw your tweet, and I'll just read it in case you guys haven't seen it. Wenger got 8 million for Clichy. That's up there with putting a man on the moon, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It was a good piece of business, I must say.
Still, isn't it? Really. He's always had that in him. What was fantastic about Clichy at Arsenal was he'd try and win the ball early, a bit like Vermaelen does as well, but sometimes that just goes wrong and it just looks horrible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just got that weakness in his game, isn't he? But when I was as the board came up for added minutes, I was like, it was 5, and I was like, I expected like 25, knowing that sort of luck, and I was just staring at it as the minutes went and the whistle went, and I just was sort of staring at the Wigan players like hugging each other, and I was thinking, what does this mean? I couldn't my first instinct was to like message Chris, like, what do we do now?
This isn't supposed to happen.
This isn't meant to happen. What do we do? Because obviously there's the excitement of it's not Man City and it's Wigan, but then you start thinking this is Arsenal we support. This isn't like. And I've got to be honest. I'm excited, but I'm also really nervous. I don't know how I feel about playing against a team that's really organised. Obviously, we said earlier that we should be beating them, but it's Arsenal, isn't it? So what do we do?
Yeah, I was there for the Birmingham final, and I don't want to go through that again ever.
It's a painful day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But if you think about the two players that were the chief protagonists on that day, Koscielny and Szczesny, and think about how they've played since then, and how they've developed as players, it surely just gives you more cause for optimism. I mean, defensively, we're a totally different team. We're not sort of as effective attacking-wise without Fabregas and Van Persie, I don't think, but we've still got amazing players that can turn it on the day. We've got the Ozils, we've got the Oxes. The Ox is playing fantastic at the moment. I mean, he really is dominating games. And, every time he lost every time he lost the ball yesterday, he just ran his arse off to win it back. And he made one tackle where he lost the ball. And I think it was Lukaku.
He made 2 of those.
Weaved inside and out and got inside the penalty box.
Made a
side tackle. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
I think from today we saw how important a defensive pair can be, because I think that's been Man City's downfall, is they've got Vincent Kompany in a traffic cone, haven't they? Whereas we've got probably the best partnership in the league, and that's the sort of stuff that wins you trophies at the end of the day. Obviously, you need someone to put the ball in, but you also need to keep it out at the other end. So. It's good times, I think. Good times.
Did you all manage to watch Match of the Day last night and see the Spurs players trying to be Mesut Ozils but assisting the wrong team?
Sherwood gave him a free roll, it looked like. And he was just running all over the place, and he's got he was useless. But that red card, that is a shocking decision though, isn't it? I know it's Spurs and we can all laugh, but that was so poor.
It's really bad refereeing.
Terrible, but if they have to lose, you want them to get pummeled, don't you? But
as soon as the first one went in, I was like, 8, we want 8. But
it's a weird one. It's like being caught between a rock and a hard place with Chelsea and Tottenham. Obviously, we hate Tottenham, but it's not Chelsea are not far behind, are they?
No,
I just couldn't understand the Vertonghen one. How in his mind that was an okay thing to do. So he's on the floor, but then he's just kicked the ball straight into the danger area.
Schoolboy
perfect
stuff,
pass,
isn't it?
though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a
perfectly
great
weighted.
Did you see what Sherwood gave both barrels afterwards, didn't he? I thought he was going to cry.
It was quite funny. He said, we want to finish in the top 4. And then he kind of laughed, didn't he, and said, "But come on, let's be honest."
Yeah, wake up.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. He was saying we haven't got no characters and we're too nice to each other.
He proper laid into them. Like,
Yeah.
It was really, really honest, but I don't see how they're going to move forward with that sort of looming over them. He proper laid into them and said that he can only trust half the players. And he's saying people at the club need to wake up, like almost an indirect to the chairman. It was good viewing, to be honest.
It was good.
It was good.
It's a negative spiral klaxon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Still laughing at him. But jumping a couple of games when we played them, did Dawson go off for a hamstring?
He looked like it. He pulled a hamstring, and Kabul got a red card.
Red card. So who were they playing central defence for? Tongan and
Sherwood. His new free roll.
yeah. They'll have monkey rush.
Who's that other guy they've got? Critches, is it? Is he
Seriously,
fit?
he's injured. He's got a back injury, I think.
Yeah, he's injured as well.
He's quite a decent defender, actually.
He's a
So
good
they'll
player.
probably pay what, Capoue and Vertonghen?
No, he's injured as well. I was just going to say that. Honestly,
Maybe
he's injured as well.
Sandro and Vertonghen. I'm not sure. I can see the Kabul red card being rescinded, actually, because it was like he was going away from goal a bit.
Yeah.
So,
that is possible.
Well, that was similar to what happened with Chesney, though, and I didn't see any sort of comments about Chesney in the Champions League, and there was nothing about rescinding that. So I
think it's the media afterwards as well. Like Jamie Redknapp and Glenn Oddle on Saturday Night Football were proper making the point of how Eto'o touched the ball, was going away from goal, and there was a covering defender. Yeah. And it shouldn't be a red card. And the media influenced it, I reckon. I can see the FA pulling that one back. But whoever they play in centre of defence, honestly, we should have enough to go there and get the 3 points. It's about time in the league as well.
Yeah, let's hope so. So what do you guys think Tuesday night? Obviously, we're going over to Munich. Well, we've beat them there before. Chris, what team would you put out?
Reserves. I don't want to seem like a defeatist here, but...
You're joking.
Tottenham is more important than Bayern Munich. We're not going to beat Bayern Munich, Ben. What we're going to do is score 7 goals against a team that wins bloody 24-0 each game. It's like when I used to play in the Harlow League under 12s. And there was a team...
It's exactly like that.
There was a team called Bishop Stortford Youth, and you'd play them every week, or the teams would play them every week. And like, I got man of the match playing in goal one week because we lost 18-0. And that's what it's like. It's like the professional equivalent of that. So
you have faith, Chris. You have faith.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to sound defeatist. I just can't see us doing it, and I don't want any silly injuries or I don't know.
It's a fair point.
I want us to be absolutely fresh for Tottenham because they play Benfica on Thursday, and they've got suspensions and injuries mounting up. And like you said, Dean, this is the best time for a long time for us to be going to Tottenham and winning. And we win that, and all of a sudden it makes this whole death run seem a lot more pleasing on the eye because it means we've gone through the FA Cup, we can write off Munich, and then if we can beat Tottenham, you then got Man City the follow. Oh no, we've got Chelsea, haven't we?
Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea, and then Man City. I think there's a Swansea game thrown in there.
Between. So yeah, good possibilities. If we beat Spurs, then it's a good, like you say, doesn't look as hard looking forward, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, so we have Tottenham the 16th, Chelsea the 22nd, Swansea the 25th, Man City the 29th. And then we've got the quarter-final of the Champions League after that. What would you do, Dean? What would you do with the team?
I'd probably I'd probably say play our best team because you can't. I've got my gripe with injuries. If people follow me, they see I'm pretty moany when it comes to injuries. But in a game like Munich, I think we can go there, if we can get a glorious defeat, maybe get a draw if we can, or maybe lose 2-1 or something and play well. I think that would do okay for the team's confidence. I don't think if we go through, it'd be. I want us to go through, but I don't mind if we don't because I don't think we got the squad strength to cope with quarterfinals, around FA Cup semi-finals. And cause I remember when we was at the FA Cup semi-finals a few years ago, Wenger rested, I think on the bench with Arshavin, Nasri, and a few others because we had Man United in the Champions League the following Wednesday. So I'd rather we just tried our best, give a good account of ourselves and a glorious defeat, and then move on to Spurs.
How about you, Ben?
I'm buzzing. I think we got to go for it. I think the best thing about what's happened at the weekend is it takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Takes the pressure off the game. You know when we played Everton at home and we drew 1-1 and our next game was City, we had to do something against City because of the result against Everton. It's exactly the same thing as we can go in it. If he goes and picks like Chamberlain, Rosicky, Cazorla, as many runners as possible, and we just have it large. Imagine if we get an early goal. Yeah. We saw what we can do. We know that they're the best possession football side on the planet, and if they turn up, they will smash us. We can all agree on that. But I just think the pressure's off, and they can go and enjoy it. I
agree.
This is what we signed Mesut Ozil for. We can't say to him, oh, we don't fancy it because we want to win the FA Cup. You've got to chuck him in there and you've got to let him have it.
Oh yeah, of course. I'd let him play. I'd say go for it. I can't see them making the same mistake as not the same mistake as last year because we played well, but they were like pretty complacent last season.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be a tough ask. Like on the weekend, I saw it was 1-0 to Wolfsburg, and then about an hour later, I saw 6-1 to Bayern Munich or 5-1. This is outrageous.
It's true. It's what they got, but for the first 10 minutes at the Emirates.
Oh, we had them on the ropes.
We had them.
Yeah.
And imagine if you score and we score again, and then what happens? I just think you've kind of got to go into it. You kind of got to believe. Like, Chris, you're tweeting photos of believe. You need to retweet them now.
Yeah.
Retweet it.
It just feels like they're basically, Bayern Munich have got the whole world. They've turned the whole world into FIFA, and they've knocked the hardness level, the difficulty level down to amateur, and they're just smashing it.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
So, you disagree with everyone, Chris?
I want to see Arsenal win, and I actually...
No, I'm in a catch-22. I don't know what I want, Chris, to be honest, so I can totally see your point.
If you think about it, Dean's right, because last year, the Munich victory was our springboard to go on an amazing run, which then got us fourth, and we've been able to kick on and sign players like Mesut Ozil. So, a glorious defeat would go a hell of a long way over the next few weeks, confidence-wise.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or if we have to go out, a 1-0 win would be even better.
Exactly.
And then we have
keep the confidence intact.
Yes, definitely, and keep the momentum going without a doubt.
That's it, because we've had a few hammerings this year, and it's like just knock the stuffing out of everyone. And if we can just, keep it, have a good game, good performance, good result, because beating them by 2 clear goals in the Allianz it's going to be really tough. So just a good performance that we can use against Spurs and Chelsea and City. So we can ask for, I think.
Chris and Ben, are you happy that I prioritised the stickers for the FA Cup?
Yes.
Yes.
And one of two things will happen now. The sticker book's complete. So either the fact that it's complete made Man City lose and means we're going to win everything now.
The treble is on.
The treble is on. Or, Chris, you're going to have to keep putting stickers in, man.
Yeah, I did put stickers in, and also I've got a lucky flat cap now, so I'm wearing that for every game.
You wear that bad boy, you wear it.
That?
Ireland, about 5 years ago.
A random story.
Yeah. For another pod on another day.
Yeah.
Well, I will wear my Arsenal boxers as well, because they've been a lucky charm too. I will stick stickers. Has anyone got any spare stickers? I'll stick them on my Arsenal boxers. And then
No, they just got weird. Very quickly.
Come on, flat caps came in. I thought it was open to anything after that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, we're coming to the end now. We've we're at 35 minutes. What we do now, Dean, is just ask if anyone's got any closing remarks before we close off the pod. Anything from you this week, Chris?
2 things. Firstly, I met Dave Quinnan in the Tollington. Do you remember Dave Quinnan from The Bill, or am I now too old?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I remember The Bill, not sure Dave Quinnan.
Yeah,
it was one of the characters in it. But secondly, afterwards, it was really quite enjoyable. There was a lot of lovely Schadenfreude going on outside, whilst all of the Everton buses were going past, and all the.
Oh, I saw you waving. Yes.
Stuff. That was quite entertaining. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I should have stayed. I went home straight afterwards. I should have come to the tolly or something. That looked good laugh. How about you, Ben? Any closing remarks from you?
Yeah, just what I said, what I've already said, really. It's just that the pressure is off for Bayern. Whatever happens in the next few weeks, whatever stresses, whatever air kicks or whatever, we've got that FA Cup to look forward to. So just enjoy the next couple of fixtures.
Are you going to try and get hold of a ticket, Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to try and harm as many people as I can to try and get myself a ticket.
Does anybody know? I've heard something. Dean, you might know about. We get an increased ticket allocation because it's based on the ticket allocation for Wembley is based on the percentage of your home attendances. Is that rubbish?
I think Wigan will only take, for the final last year, they only took 25,000 fans. So they never, and that leaves about 12 short because I think it's 37 each. So I think Arsenal will get an extra maybe 10,000 tickets. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it would be handy because we have got a pretty heavy support base. So yeah, every other ticket will help.
Yeah. That was going to be the debate next week, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Any closing remarks from you, Dean?
Oh yeah, just echoing what you guys are saying. I think we can enjoy Munich, be a great occasion, and yeah, looking forward to the next few games. We can maybe take 4 points, and then beat Swansea, and maybe at home we can beat anyone. We could be in a title race, but yeah, we've got the FA Cup to look forward to now, and not a shoe-in for the trophy, but let's be honest, the way we've been putting teams away this year, like lesser teams, the FA Cup is not ours, but it's realistically could be ours. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Been a good
Somebody said
season.
earlier, we'd have to beat ourselves.
That's it. That's all we asked for, to be in contention in the months of April and May, and they've given it to us this year, so we can be pretty happy, I think.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Dean.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me, guys. It's cool.
And yeah, let's hope this weekend is one of many good weekends coming up. Thanks all, and Suburban Gooners out.
See ya.
Bye-bye.